Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today's video is a super highly requested topic, and this is going to be my #1 product in every makeup category. We're going to be going through my favorite primer, my top favorite foundation, concealer, etc. And I'm also going to be sharing with you which brush or tool I love to apply each product as we go along. So you're going to be getting the full tea on my absolute top favorite for every single step of how I would love to do my makeup every single day if I could. So quick disclaimer before we get started, obviously I try a lot of makeup. The second this video goes up, the next day one of these products could change, could slip off the top spot. This is my absolute favorite #1 product right now as I'm filming this, and it was not easy, let me tell you. Today's video is also a collab with the absolutely gorgeous, sweet Kelly at K Bella Beauty. If you don't know Kelly, she is just the sweetest, nicest, real woman on YouTube. She's very, very supportive and kind and generous. She's very much like me. She's a mum, she works very hard, and she does makeup that we can all relate to, you know, very wearable makeup. We love a lot of the same products, a lot of high-end products. She does lovely reviews, things like empties and all that fun stuff over on her channel. So please go and check out Kelly's channel once you are finished here and tell her I said hi. So we are going to be starting with my brows, and I have just come to be obsessed with the ABH Brow Freeze. I love this stuff, and I've definitely got more and more used to it the more I've used it, and I've now got it down to like a fine art with this product. I wasn't very sure about it at first. It's very different to gel and using a gel, and it was tricky to get the hang of it for me at first, but now I've done that and I just have never looked back. I absolutely love this stuff, and it holds my brows once I've kind of finished everything up and I really freeze them in place with this stuff. They will stay exactly how I've left them all day. Next up, I'm going in with my primer, and of course you know what it's going to be. It's the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I have loved this primer for the longest time. It is just an absolute standout and a staple for me. I don't see anything knocking it off the top spot, unless it's going to be the liquid version once I finally get to crack that bad boy open. But this just gives me the smoothest, silkiest canvas, if you will pardon the pun, for my makeup. I feel like it's very smoothing, it feels hydrating, and it just gives me a flawless base for products to go on top of. I love the smell of it, I love the application process, it's just everything. Then we're going back to brows. I like to give that brow freeze a second to just dry down before I go in with my pencil, and as you guys know, I have just fallen head over heels for this new Huda Beauty brow pencil. It is just perfect. I struggled with my KVD brow pencil once I started using the brow freeze because it just wouldn't stick to the skin where the brow freeze was there. This one has no issues whatsoever. I use it very, very lightly. It's so fine and it gives you the perfect hair-like strokes, and I just find it very, very easy to work with. And I also love the colour. I use #7 and it's just the perfect colour for me. Next up, I'm going in with my concealer, and I'm sure you guys know that it is the Pat McGrath concealer. I absolutely love this concealer. I really don't use any other concealer anymore. This is just it for me. It doesn't crease. It gives me absolute perfect coverage of my darkness. It has great shades both in my winter and my summer. I'm using #9 here, and this is perfect for me in the winter. In the summer, I'll use 14 or 15, but this just is the most creamy, easy to blend out, perfect coverage concealer that I've ever used, and it feels nice and lightweight. I'm carving out my brows there with the Bdellium Tools 936, and that is my favorite like concealing brush for carving out out brows. And I'm setting that concealer with the Pat McGrath under eye powder. I don't usually use this on my eyelid, but I can do. I just tend to use like any old powder on there, but this is my favorite under eye or eye setting powder. It's just smoothing and flawless and seamless, and you need the tiniest amount, and it just looks very airbrushed, and it stops any concealer moving or creasing throughout the day or fading away. The combination of the concealer and the powder from Pat McGrath is just it for me. And now moving on to eyeshadow. I'm sure lots of you will not be surprised to see the Divine Rose 2 palette here. It has been like my favourite for a very long time, and lots of others come and go, and I love lots of other palettes, but something just about this one, I just always, whenever I try and think what is my favourite, I'm drawn to this one. It's just so special, so versatile, and so fun to play with, but it sits in my kind of comfort zone and my favorite tones as well, so I feel very comfortable using it for like any occasion. It's just never seems like too much. You can tone it down or you can go all out, and it's just very versatile but always beautiful. I'm going to be using several of my Rephr brushes here. My favorite, the new number 27, as well as some of the smaller crease brushes that I'll be showing you, but Rephr are absolutely my favorite eye brushes, as you will see. I think almost all but one of my eye brushes that I'm going to be using today are Rephr. So next up, I'm doing a cheeky wing, and if I'm ever going to do a winged liner, it is always the KVD liner in Trooper. That's the colour, which is just a jet black. It is just so easy. I'm no pro, I'm no expert when it comes to winged liner, but I can certainly do a decent one. When I use this, I just find it foolproof, easy as anything, and it's jet black, and just, yeah, it just does the job for you if you're a bit rubbish like me with a wing. So the next category being mascara, and again, this is one where there's a few that I kind of go back and forth between. The Pat McGrath Dark Star and her Fetish Eyes, Lancome Monsieur Big and me had a long-term love affair. I love the new Benefit one, although it didn't kind of last as well as some of those others I've mentioned, but my number one still at this moment is the Charlotte Tilbury Push Up Lashes Mascara. I just find this so beautiful and flattering, and again, versatile. You can have a really natural, light, fluttery lash, or you can go all out and have some real huge, big, fat lashes, but you really maintain the volume and definition. As much as you add and as big as your lashes get, you keep that fanned out, feminine cat eye look to the lashes, and I just absolutely love it. Now for foundation, and no prizes for guessing. I'm sure all of you know that my foundation, my favorite foundation for a long time, has been the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. It's just stunning. I absolutely love it, and I'm applying that with my favorite foundation brush, which is from Rephr, the number 17, and I just love this brush. It just gets around all of the little nooks and crannies, like around your nose, between your brows, and I just find it does the job flawlessly, and it works with almost every type of foundation beautifully. I sometimes go over my foundation with a sponge, but I really don't need to because that brush just does such an excellent job. Next, my contour favorite. I don't contour every time I do my makeup, but when I do, I reach for the Charlotte Tilbury contour one. This is nearly empty. I actually had to really squeeze this tube to get some out to use in this video. I need to get a new one, evidently, but this is just it for me. You can see it's just so foolproof, and contour is something I can be a little afraid of, especially a cream contour. But the wand of this one just makes it so easy just to put a little, and it is very easy to blend out. Just, it takes no effort whatsoever. I generally will either go back in with my foundation brush, the number 17 from Rephr, or sometimes if I'm just building up a little, I will use my damp beauty blender just to make sure everything is kind of seamless when it comes to the blend. So now I'm going back in with my same concealer from Pat McGrath to do all of my concealer areas, the same concealer we already spoke about. And then of course I'm going to be setting that with my same Pat McGrath under eye setting powder that I spoke about earlier. They are my absolute favourites when it comes to concealer and powder. Now I don't always set my face, but if I do, my favourite setting powder is the Rephr setting powder. I just feel like this takes a little bit of the shine down, as you can see, but it doesn't remove it. It doesn't stop my skin being glowy and luminous, and it really does not look like there's powder on my skin. And I'm going to be applying that powder with the Rephr 25 powder brush. I absolutely love this brush. It's just the perfect size, applies the perfect tiny amount to give me that light dusting that I love. It's just a beautiful, airy, fluffy brush. As I have a normal skin type, I don't need to powder to stop shine or oils coming through necessarily for the majority of the foundations that I use and the majority of the days that I wear makeup. But if I do just want to kind of lock things in, or I have a super shiny foundation on, or maybe a foundation I know doesn't wear especially well, then I will use that powder. That is really the only one that I enjoy using as far as a loose setting powder all over my face. And now for bronzer, which may be a surprise for some of you because I have been just raving and unable to look away from the Charlotte Tilbury and Gucci bronzers, and this is neither of them. It's actually the Marc Jacobs Tantalize bronzer. I spoke about this in my monthly favorites this month, as this is kind of like an oldie that I've rediscovered in my collection. I took a bit of a break from the Charlotte Tilbury and the Gucci just because I got sick of the sight of them. Honestly, I needed a change, so I picked this one back up and I just haven't looked away from it since. I've fallen head over heels back in love with it, and this is my current favorite now. It's just so natural and smooth on the skin, and it's so buildable and easy to work with. You can just build and build as much as you like, and I think that the tone of it really suits me because it's quite that reddish tone, just like the Charlotte Tilbury and the Gucci are in the shades that I choose. But this one just, it's got that hair more of a easier quality because it's not as pigmented as those two, and it's got a more natural finish as opposed to the Gucci being very luminous and the Charlotte Tilbury being matte. But that is my absolute favorite right now. And you can see I'm applying that bronzer with the Sonia G Face Pro. That is my favorite bronzer brush. I use that brush every single time I apply my bronzer. And now moving on to highlight, again, one that I'm sure you guys already know what it's going to be if you have been here before. It's the Pat McGrath Divine Rose highlighter. I absolutely adore it. I just really don't want to use any other highlighter these days. It's just the perfect amount of glow, the perfect shade for my skin tone. It melts into the skin and is just seamless, but it just gives me the most glorious luminosity to the skin without shimmer, without it being metallic, without it being too beaming, but without it being just disappearing either. It's just absolutely perfect for me, and I'm applying that with the Sonia G Fan Pro, which is my favorite brush to apply this highlight with. And now for blusher. Now I know you guys are probably familiar with the fact that my absolute favorite blush formula is the Laura Mercier, and my absolute favorite shade right now is Bellini. It's just gorgeous. It's so easy to use, it's easy to wear, it's so buildable, but it just always stays soft and understated, and a slight flush of something, flush of colour, flush of peachiness to the cheeks without being overwhelming. And you can just never put too much because it's just so soft and subtle. And I'm applying that with my Sonia G Cheek Pro, which is my absolute favourite blush brush, and another one that I use every time I apply blush. I really don't use another blush brush. That is my absolute favourite every time I do my makeup. So now for waterline liner. I really only use the Milk liners. They are my absolute favourite, especially this BCC shade that I'm using in my lower waterline. I don't do this often enough. Whenever I do, I think to myself, I need to do this more. It makes such a difference to getting rid of any redness that might be in your waterline and just brightening and opening up your eyes. And I must do it more often because I love this one and it wears incredibly well. And now for lips. My favourite lip liner. I mean, the formula is just stunning, but this colour in the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Lip Crayon in Naya, it's just the most perfect lip liner colour. It goes with every single nude there is, and it just glides smooth as anything over the lips. No tugging, no pulling, and it wears like a dream. And this lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury is just stolen my heart. This is Nude Romance, and it is, besides this stunning packaging, again, just the perfect everyday, every occasion nude lip for me. I love these peachier toned nudes, and this one is just it. That glossy finish is just perfect for me. It's so comfortable and flattering. And again, gloss is not a product I use every single day, and actually every single week. It's one that I pull out every now and then. But when I do want a gloss, I love this Natasha Denona formula. I love the coral shade that I love to wear on its own in summer. And this is like a topper for a nude lip. This is the shade Caramel, and it's just perfect. I love the feel of it on my lips. I love the shine that it gives, and the color is just enough that you could wear it by itself, perhaps with a liner, but it's also a great finishing lip gloss on top of any nude color you might want to use. So there you have it. That is my current #1 product in every makeup category. I'm sure I've forgotten something, hopefully not. I know I didn't talk about setting sprays because I just literally don't use them, so I just really don't have a favorite one. I think that's pretty much it as far as, fingers crossed, hopefully that's everything covered. Let's hope so. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love for you to go and say hi to Kelly and check out her video on her channel as well, and thank her for partnering with me on this really fun, highly requested video. I hope this answers any of your questions where you've been wondering, what's your favorite foundation? What's your #1 lipstick? What's your #1 mascara? Hopefully now you have all the answers in one handy place. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.